Hey YouTube, how's it going? Welcome to another video. So, in this video, I want to sort of discuss and explore some of the signs and patterns of colorism in dark-skinned males. And I think this is something that, we need to sort of just sit back and examine for a moment. So, thanks for coming. Thanks for showing up. Hey, Tim Henson, welcome. And welcome to you, Monil Yosef. Welcome. But yeah, let me get into this though. Let's get into this. All right. So I'm going to just go down the list, sort of seeing how black males relate to people in the community. All right. First on the list, I would say, is dark-skinned females. How dark-skinned males relate to dark-skinned females. In regards to, signs and patterns of colorism, right? Being able to say, hey, that's colorism being displayed in dark-skinned men. So I think one way that's really popular, that what is something that dark-skinned men do to dark-skinned women, is sort of say like, oh, she's pretty for a dark-skinned girl. And to be fair, it's not just dark-skinned men saying this, I think, but I feel like oftentimes it seems to trace back to them though, for some reason. I don't know. I'm not sure why. I don't know. I don't know, but oftentimes it seems to trace back to them, but I wouldn't say that they're the only one who does it. I think they may lead the charge in it though, but I don't think they're the only one though. So that is like a sign of colorism in a dark-skinned man. If he says like, oh, that, she's pretty for a dark-skinned girl, Another sign would be sort of gravitating towards lighter-skinned females. But let me not get into that just yet. Another sign is like, when it comes to dark-skinned women, it's like sometimes some dark-skinned men will kind of go in and bash dark-skinned black women. And, they'll say like really derogatory things in relation to a dark-skinned woman and her skin tone, which is always sort of like odd to me to hear that, because it's like, well, you guys are kind of like more or less the same, you're just like a variation of one another. So I don't know, I don't know where that would come from, where he would feel the need to really say those derogatory things, other than a place of like perhaps, projection, projecting his insecurities onto someone who perhaps isn't in a position to be able to fight back as strongly against the projection. But yeah, those are two ways that, the colorism patterns and signs show in dark-skinned men, and these are in relation to dark-skinned females, like how they treat dark-skinned females, right? So if you're seeing a dark-skinned man engage in that type of behavior, you probably are dealing with a colorist. Another way, another way, and this is in relation to light-skinned women, you know, when it comes to light-skinned women, these, the colorist dark-skinned man doesn't treat them the same as dark-skinned women, unless he just really doesn't like blackness at all, like at all. Then, you'll have those black men who just totally just avoid any woman with a drop of black in her. Just, um, but in relation to light-skinned females and biracial females, I'll say one way that a colorism pattern, sign or whatnot, shows is, the dark-skinned male gravitating towards the light-skinned biracial female again and again and again. That could be a sign, right? And some people will argue that, well, it's just a preference, right? And that, we're all black, right? That's like their favorite saying. That's their favorite thing they like to say. Like, we all black, right? I wonder where that comes from. Where does that saying even originate from? I guarantee you it originates from like some conversation dealing with colorism. And someone just throwing that out there, like, we all black. And then the other one is like, we're all mixed. But yeah, you'll see that pattern, that sort of like pattern of pursuing lighter skinned females. And you'll see that in the media pushed a lot too. And I'm not just talking about TV shows, movies, etc. I'm talking about like dark-skinned black men in the entertainment industry who have wives who are black. Oftentimes those black wives tend to be lighter skinned. In other times, and sometimes, like, those same men will have a history, or like they would have dated dark-skinned black women during the come up part, right? But once they have come up, then sometimes you'll see a switch in terms of the women that they're pursuing now. It's like, oh, the light-skinned woman. But hey, welcome, Love Wisdom. Thanks for showing up. But you'll see you'll see that pattern take place. You'll see those signs. Those are kind of like signs to look out for, right? Also, another way that this comes up is when a dark-skinned woman calls out colorism and sort of says, this, light-skinned biracial woman, she's biracial, she's not black. And you'll see them sort of take up for the biracial light-skinned female really strongly, And sometimes it could come from just the place of, hey, that person could feel like, we all are black, right? But other times it's like they may feel the need to defend these women because these are the women that they like. And if they're not seen as black, then they will be seen as sellouts if they date these women. And they don't want to be viewed as sellouts if they date these women. If they date these women, they want to be viewed as being down and in the community while kind of having a foot, maybe not a foot outside the community, that may be a little harsh, but perhaps like having blackness, but also having a taste of the exotic, if you will, right? Which I think is at play sometimes, where it's like, well, she's black, but she's also has an approxim has a pro- has proximity to non-blackness, which that dark-skinned man may find appealing. And I don't think that it just goes for dark-skinned men, of course, but since we're talking about them, right, here we are. Let's see. Sometimes when it comes to like dark-skinned men expressing their preferences, they tend to express their preferences a little strongly for lighter-skinned females on occasions, like in their music, in artistry, right? Like the women who they rap about, the women that they put in their videos. It's just, it is something to think about. It's a lot to think about. But thanks for showing up. Thanks for showing up to the live stream. But these are just things to talk about. Well, things to think about and things to take note of. I think sometimes these sort of things fly under the radar. Other signs of colorism, dark-skinned male colorism as it relates to light-skinned biracial men. Sometimes you kind of see sort of like a joke, sort of like dark-skinned men saying jokes at the expense of light-skinned men and biracial men for some reason. Yeah, they always seem to, come with the jokes for some reason. Like, where does that come from, right? And, some people say it just comes from a place of, just whatever, right? It's just, it just magically appeared. It just magically came here, right? Versus, taking a moment to examine that. Because I don't think that the light-skinned dudes and the biracial dudes are coming with the dark-skinned dude jokes, are they? Also, like the dark-skinned or the light-skinned guys memes. Like, who be creating those memes? Who got the time to put together those memes? Like, really? Like, who taking the time out of their day to put together those memes? But yeah, I see y'all commenting in the commenting in the comment section. I think another way that this happens is maybe sometimes the dark-skinned men questioning the blackness or the authenticity of the blackness of these, the lighter-skinned biracial dudes, the men. After all, it's like, why, roll out the welcome mat for your competition? Even though some dark-skinned females may feel the same way, but, tend not to be as supported when they try to do the same thing and protect their image, though. Let's see, another way is, I think ultimately, those tend to be very common ways. One last thing to address is dark-skinned men relationship with other dark-skinned men. And that's something to think about. Or just with themselves. Like, how do they view their blackness? Right? Did they be like, I'm black as hell? Do they refer to themselves as being black as hell? Or, black as like shit or dark as night, or something like a negative connotation with it, like, oh, they don't want nobody, they don't want a woman as black as them. And I think that goes under the radar too. In kids, having kids, that's something to think about too. If you're pursuing these light-skinned biracial women, and in some cases non-black women, how do you think the kid's gonna look? But some of these dudes, I don't know if they really be thinking it all the way through, or either they want to have kids who look not exactly like them, right? Not exactly with their features, right? Of course, they're not going to admit this because it's a tough thing to admit something like that, I don't think there is a space for black men in general, but especially dark-skinned black men, to be vulnerable and to be honest about how they feel, especially if you're dark-skinned, just period. I think that sometimes the community really doesn't want to hear your struggles about being dark-skinned, male or female, really. But at the same time, the community will sort of perpetuate this anti-dark-skin sentiment, but then question you and like, what's wrong with you? As if they don't know where it comes from. And they play dumb. Not all, but some. Let's see. I remember somebody mentioning the Glokknine interview, right? That rapper who said he doesn't want dark-skinned babies. I did watch that, actually. I did. And I was, I watched it and I scrolled through the comment section to see what people think, And where does that come from? But then again, when it comes to dark-skinned men, sometimes I'm like, should I be on their side and be sympathetic and empathetic and, try to help in any way that I can, Should I be doing that? Like, I think I definitely should do that for dark-skinned women, and as well, I think it would be appreciated. But I don't know, But I feel like, is his color an issue? Or is his features, or is color an issue, or his features an issue? Like, is it colorism or featureism? Because honestly, if his features looked more, keen, quote unquote, or a little different, he may not feel that way, maybe. But then again, some of these dudes that these black women be thirsting over, like Tyrese and who else? Like Lance Gross, or who else they be listening? Idris Elba, tend to kind of gravitate toward the lighter skins women. I do think that both skin tone and featureism play a part. I'll say that. But I do think that featureism is something that's sort of ignored, and then we're kind of like, oh, it's just because of the dark skin. When I don't think that's entirely true. Entirely true. Let's see. Omari Mitchell. I agree. I'm black, but people say I'm handsome. Just dark. Omari Mitchell. Me, I light women and white women love me, bruh. If you are light and have keen features, you look white. Well, I don't know. Maybe. But, these are sort of things to think about, though. Let's see. What else is in the comment section? Oops. Okay, Omari Mitchell. So you are dark skinned. Dark skinned male. And you saying that the light skin and white women show you love. Dark skin like Bobby Shmurda. Okay. Face darker than my body. I have sort of seen that once. Where the face is like face and kind of like maybe arms or something like really dark, but the part of the body that are not exposed to sun tend to be like really light. Like an undercover light skinned dude. Let's see. Omari, they show me so much love, bro. Tim Henson. Why do black people get passed when they make colorist statements, but when a white person does it, we reject them? I don't know. I think usually when it comes to us, we're not so quick to want to call it out because it's different when it's us against us versus us against them. White people may have created colorism, but a lot of black people willingly participate in it. Black people do have agency when it comes to this. They're not just completely innocent. Michael, I strongly believe featureism is really more of an issue than colorism. Think Zoe Saldana and Tatiana Ali, or Chili from TLC. That's true. I feel like those women, while they are dark skinned, I do think they have somewhat of a leg up on, say, other dark skinned women because of their features, right? Like Chili, she got like Chili and Tatiana Ali and Zoe Saldana. They got good hair, right? Quote unquote good hair, right? Their features, their facial features look a certain way, too. Tim Henson, look at Kanye. If a white person said half the shit he said, we would never accept them. That's true. I think Kanye West is suffering from mental issues. I think bipolar disorder, as well as probably self-hate issues, as is Azealia Banks, probably is suffering from some type of a issue like bipolar disorder and self-hate. Azealia Banks, at this point, I'd just be laughing at the stuff she be saying. like she was saying, like like she don't fuck with niggas, and she gonna go bounce on some white dick, and she through with niggas. And I'm like, white men are not gonna. I mean, I actually think that Azealia Banks does look good. I think she's just crazy as fuck, but I think that she does look good. But I just feel like white men aren't going to be really checking for her like she think that they are. I could be wrong, but I don't think they're going to be taking her seriously like that, like how she would want them to take her seriously. Let's see. Yosef. No, you can always get a nose job. You can't change your color to white. The fuck? Hair, you can always wear weaves. Yeah, TLC said it best, right? You can buy hair if it don't grow. Like, you can buy hair if it won't grow. You can fix your nose if he say so. Michael, low-grade white men will, in regards to Azealia Banks. but she's portraying them as like the knight in shining armor that's going to take, rescue her from Blackistan and, these crazy niggas and take her back to like Whitelandia or something, right? And I just don't think that's going to work like that. Love Wisdom. Azealia Banks is a great case study of the effects of colorism. Yeah. But the thing is, I don't think anyone wants to study Azealia Banks because she's just so strongly disliked, unfortunately. She's like, I think a lot of people would want her to be the face of colorism who don't want to talk about colorism. Like, they want her to represent colorism so they can dismiss it because it's like connected to her and she doesn't have a good reputation. While when we connected it to Amara La Negra, they still dismissed it, but it was just for different reasons. Pablo Frescobar, welcome. White Zaddy isn't the savior. Yeah, I think for black women, as a collective, that isn't really a good option for you. On an individual level, it could work, but as a collective, nah, And I think black women, by and large, know this. Let's see. Amari Mitchell, you are the spitting image of my best friend in high school too. By the way, BTW. We would hit the mall back in the day, and darker girls would gravitate toward him, and lighter girls toward me. I grew up in Baltimore. I assume be more means Baltimore. I'm not hip to the slang. Yeah. Sometimes it does kind of go that way. Where it's like the light goes to dark, the dark goes to light, versus like dark and light and light. I don't know where that comes from. I don't know. I'm not sure. Let's see. Love Wisdom. She also promoted skin bleaching and even called another dark-skinned black woman a tar baby. And she also told her to go pick tar, too. Go pick cotton. I'm sorry, you can't pick tar. Go pick cotton. Yeah, she did. She did do those things. I remember that. So she participates in colorism too, Let's see. Tim Henson, Kanye gets a pass. He still can be held accountable for his colorist statements that cause just because he has mental illness doesn't mean he has no control over that. I agree. He should be held accountable, because I do think that still comes from a place of truth, maybe, but it's just the mental illness is exacerbating it, though. Yosef. 80% of the black men in the industry are colorists or said colorist things. Do you have a source? Could you cite your sources on, that statistic, Yosef? Michael, LOL, you look like my college roommate. He was Cape Verdean, LOL. That's the thing. I think every light-skinned person probably had somebody tell them they look like, by like a dark-skinned person, tell them like they look like they cousin, they look like they godson, they look like they nephew, light-skinned folks, like, we're a cult, I guess. I don't know. We always looking like somebody. Do all light-skinned people look alike? Low-key, a little bit. A little bit. I do think there's probably not as much like genetic variation in light-skinned people as there is like in maybe like brown-skinned and dark-skinned folks. Let's see. You see. I feel like the world ideal is blonde, blue eyes, etc. And the more far away you get from it, the worse. I feel like it's so sad, but we need to create our own beauty ideal, just like the Asians. Okay. We do. And I think we are, but I think we still are kind of like gravitating towards like kind of like a remix of it, like, oh, throwing some black in it, throw some black in it, it's good. Don't make it all the way black, but throw some half black in this and in it, let's see. Yosef. Steven, what are you mixed with? I have a video actually where I did a DNA test. I actually have done probably like 2 at least. And I shared the results in that video. But I think I got to leave, y'all. I'm actually on lunch break and I got to get back to work. But thanks for showing up, y'all. Thanks for showing up and showing out. Let's see what else y'all saying right quick. Michael, no, they don't. I guess, no, they don't look alike, but you just resemble him. And you do have an island look to me. Oh, that's strange. First time I've heard that. But thanks, nonetheless. Tim Henson, did you watch Chrissy's video on Erica Campbell? Do a review. I guess I can do one at one point or another and talk about that situation. I guess so. I did watch the video. But, you guys, thanks for showing up. Thanks for showing up and chatting with me and sharing you guys' opinions on things. I really appreciate it. And, we'll chat again, definitely, Usually I try to be, the lunch break ones, I can only go for so long, but ones where I have like free time, you can just go till like the battery runs out, or until we just get tired, whatever comes first. But yeah, I am going to watch Chrissy's live stream on Azealia Banks, though. I haven't watched that yet, but I'm going to. Probably more so listen to it. But yeah, I'm going to listen to it because I feel like Chrissy, she about to go in, and I'm here for it. But yeah, thanks for coming out, you guys. Until the next video, adios and goodbye for now.